Welcome, Greek U Nation, to episode number 254 of the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Ayalon, CEO of Greek University. I'm a speaker and a two-time author. Our second book is called From Letters to Leaders, Redefining New Member Education and Leveraging Belonging to Eliminate Hazing. That is available now on Amazon. Go and pick up that book today. We call these episodes the Fraternity Foodie Podcast because there is nothing like great food to bring college students together. Fun fact, just like our next guest, I believe that building a big network is so fundamental to your long-term success. You can get started in building that network right now in college. Start by reaching out to leaders and other councils on your campus, having one-on-one conversations about ways that you can help other students on campus. Attend Rotary meetings in your local city and network with all the local leaders in town to see how you and members of your organization can assist. Just look to serve others, and I promise you that good things are coming in the future. Our next guest is Dr. Victoria Rader, Possibility Coach. Through thousands of client sessions and hundreds of seminars, Victoria has witnessed that the cap to one's fulfillment is defined by their subconscious programming. As a result, she created products and services with a unique proprietary success formula of healing one's heart, freeing one's mind, and expanding one's talents and skills to see, create, and live a life of limitless possibilities. She is the host of All About the Voice podcast. She is the internationally best-selling author of Until You Win, Until You Shine, and Manifest Me Journal. Her newest book is called Prosper Me, 35 Universal Laws to Make Money Work for You. Welcome to the show, Victoria.
Thank you. I felt like I've just died and attended my own eulogy, and it was way fun, way fun.
You're still here with us, and I'm available to tour with you all over the country. I'll introduce you, no problem whatsoever.
Amazing, amazing.
All right, so we got a deal. That's good. So I want to tell our audience a little bit more about your background. And I think, your youth, your upbringing is just so critically important to who you are. And I also think it's topical because there's so much going on right now in that area of the world. Now, when you were growing up, you had a well-meaning teacher pull you aside and tell you that you didn't need to learn English, that you would never leave the Ukraine, you would never leave the USSR and the Soviet Union. What is it about the Ukrainian people that freedom is so important to them, while others that are in that region, they're perfectly happy staying there forever?
It's just a phenomenal question, really, Michael, because, you can see that I came from freedom seeking to freedom living, right? And if you look at the history, I thought just kind of give it an interesting angle. If you look at the history of Ukraine, it actually was the first democratic government. Very few people understand that. In 1650, Ukraine had an elected president that was called Hetman. And around the same time, it had the strongest military in the region, which is when the Tsarist Russia decided to hire the Ukrainian army to protect its borders. And then one political era, we got sold. We got sold and we lost our freedom, but politically. But the people have been seeking that freedom emotionally and culturally ever since that treaty. And if you look further at the history of Ukraine, unfortunately, for Ukrainians, while we are genetically and culturally very entrepreneurial people, that rubs the Soviet regime wrong for about 70 years. And so every about 50 years or so, there is an extermination. 1930s, Stalin decides to do famine, 9 million Ukrainians died. And I think this is kind of an important point. It's not my point, but I love it. I've heard it from the Sheikh of Saudi Arabia. And he said, hard times make strong people, and strong people make easy times. And then easy people make hard times. And so I think with Ukrainians, we've gone through so many hard times. We've become strong, freedom-seeking people. I think seeing where we are right here, right now, this is my homeland now in the US, we've had easy times for a while, and easy times weaken us as people, and we will create harder times.
Wow, that is so fascinating. And it's so interesting to hear you talk about that, given what's going on right now in the world. And thank you. Thank you for sharing all of that with us. And of course, now the United States is your home, and you decided on George Mason University of all places. I'm wondering, why did you choose George Mason?
So I was in school in Kiev, in Ukraine, which is called Mohila Academy, Kiev Mohila Academy. It actually was the first academy in the old Europe. It was closed for 7 years of the Soviet regime, but I was the second year of students after its opening, and I was 1 year short of finishing it when, after 2 years of dating my professor and my client, I married him and came to US. And because he's a bit older, we've been married for 27 years now, so I can say anything I want. It qualifies, longevity qualifies, right? I was, I got married and we wanted to have kids. So I was pregnant and looked around to see at the most practical way to get the degree that was both affordable and close to home. I did not have a car. I was 8 months pregnant and taking buses and walking in a beautiful DC heat. And so when I know what it is to be a struggling student, I can add being a struggling pregnant student. And that was more of a choice that was fiscally and conveniently bound than a choice of any other way. And for anybody who's kind of going, you know what, I just want to get in the Ivy League, if you can, and you don't go into dad, do it. But if you can't, guess what? The biggest secret ever. After your first job, nobody cares where you got the degree from. Like nobody's ever, other than Michael, he's the first and probably the last person will ever be like, George Mason, why? And this is why. It was practical, it was inspired, and I'm thrilled I did it, and I would do it all over again.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I mean, people, once you get your first job, people want to know what you've actually done in the workforce, as opposed to necessarily where you went to school. I mean, I don't even remember the last time anybody asked me what my GPA was or anything like that. Actually, I do. When I went for my master's program, they pulled my transcript from undergrad, and they were wondering why I didn't do as well as I should have as an undergrad. And I explained to them I was so busy with the fraternity that I really just didn't have a lot of time, free time, and my priorities were a little bit off. But then I pulled a 4.0 in grad school, and then that concern went away.
Yep.
So it is kind of interesting how things change as you get older. But obviously you believe in limitless possibilities. I mean, you traveled the entire world. You saw over 40 countries. You homeschooled your 2 children while you were becoming the top 1% of real estate agents in the United States in the middle of the 2008 crash. So I'm wondering, what motivates you? What drives you?
In one word, that would be love. And it's not, it's becoming a popular cliche to say, but I really look at love, I have an acronym for it as life originating vibrant emotion, and emotion being energy in motion. And so we are, I work with subconscious mind, I work with energy all day long. We are energetic beings. We work with energy. You don't have to be a psychic to walk into the room and feel sick and not have a clue because the energy in the room is sick. You just feel off, right? We all do that. We're human beings. We're magnets of that. And so for me, that understanding of being able to know how to best direct the energy to create life is what I call love. When we say we write songs, love hurts. If it hurts, it ain't love. That's your first indicator. Just walk away. If it hurts, it ain't love. And so that truly is the answer. Speaking of my first trip, I wanted to homeschool my kids so they would speak Russian and Ukrainian, the 2 languages I spoke. And started teaching them. Then I thought it was a brilliant idea to go to Greece to teach them to Greece, by the way. Look at that, Greek university, bang. So to, to teach them a little bit of the ancient history. We arrived in Greece, had phenomenal 3 weeks. They were young, 8 and 4, came home. My husband sat me down and he said, honey, don't know how it works in Ukraine, but here in US, nothing is attached to plastic. So every time you swiped this thing, you've gotten us deeper and deeper and deeper into debt. So my answer to continuing to love my kids, because I knew that was the best kind of education I could have given them at a point, was to literally Google in 2007 and say, what's the fastest way to make money in US? And what popped up was real estate. Of course, there was no effort. The market was hot. I made commitment to do that. And by the time I had a license, it started crashing. So that's kind of the story of overcoming. I'm not going to go into months of sobbing. That's for another topic. So what looks easy and successful usually comes at a cost of overcoming.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, you don't get to the top 1% without overcoming some obstacles and barriers along the way. But I'm also sure that this law of connection helped you quite a bit to become successful in real estate. You have to be connected. You have to have a network in order to sell as much as you did. So why do you think building a big network is so important for college students, no matter what career they choose?
It is said your network is your net worth. And once again, it's probably overused, but it is the best indicator of your not only financial success, but your feeling of confidence as well. Because the more people you genuinely know, not to use them, but to impact them, the deeper those relationships become, the faster you grow as a human being. So we don't connect with people in order to get something from them. I think that, that kind of network backfires. We connect with people to learn who we are, because every relationship you're with a new person shows you a different aspect of who you are. So the more people you know, the faster you grow and develop as a human being. And the more capable you're becoming, because every time you're speaking to a new person, all of us have pearls of wisdom. And if you make it your journey to find a pearl of wisdom in every person that you meet, if that is the way you meet every person, you will grow your network incredibly fast. As you are in school, what a phenomenal time to grow your network. Go on LinkedIn. What is your topic of research? Who are the people that are phenomenal in that area? Become their favorite stalker, like genuine favorite stalker. Follow them, comment on their posts. Guess what? There is a person on the other side of the title. And as you're genuine, as you're sharing their content, not only you're growing, your connection to them is growing. And guess what? The only reason you're in school is to get a degree so that you can get a job, so you can make money and be happy. Be happy now and get a job while in school through these connections. So grow your network now.
Fantastic advice. Now, speaking of net worth, our college students, they're probably looking at their bank account right now, and they're probably sick because there's not a lot of money in there. I'll tell you that right now. Inflation is super high right now all over the world. Gas prices are high all over the world. And guess what? We're saddling our college students right now with so much student debt, much more so than when you and I went to college. So how do they make this situation better?
Yeah, just poignant point. And I think the first step to realize, coming from Possibility Coach, here's the downer: you cannot change any situation externally. And the harder you try, the more difficult it'll become. What do I mean by that? I'm going to do a very simple example. When you wake up in the morning and you have a zit on your nose and you come to the mirror, right? You're going to put a lotion or whatever on your nose. You're not going to reach into the mirror and try to pop the zit in the mirror. Okay, that is as simple of an example as I can do. You can't control the reflection of the situation. You're going to be pouring the energy into something you have no control over. So the first point is awareness. The first point is to be so openly, acceptingly honest about where you are. So know where you are. When you look at your bank, know where you are. There's no place for judgment, it's just place of awareness. How much money do you have? How much debt do you have? Jot it down, do it on iPad. It doesn't matter. Have a picture of where you are. A lot of us are living in fear because we don't know where we are. So find out where you are. And then tell yourself, where do you want to be in a year? Just in a year. This is where I am now. This is where I am in a year. And write that down. And then ask yourself, what is the first step I can make today to be where I want to be in a year? Very simple, very practical. And that first step might be, I'm not going to get a latte. I'm not going to go out. I'm actually going to do something very practical, like eating a simple yet nutritious menu. Every morning, oatmeal, boring, very good for you. Every lunch, bag of salad with piece of chicken, microwave it for 3 minutes, you're done. And then what I did when I was on that student budget for dinner, barter your time and your food. If you have 5 friends, most likely they're eating the same thing you're eating already, right? We're foodies here, right? We're foodies. Oh, yeah. Okay. So yeah. So you are having friends that have similar tastes. It is much more affordable to cook one meal a week for a lot of people, buying same ingredients, than it is to cook every day for one person. There's no waste in that. And there's no waste of money. There's no waste of produce. So, and how fun is it? However you're going to work it out, whether one person cooks, everybody comes to their house once a week, or whether you have to pick up, be wise, be a real brilliant financial foodie. And that's just with a food example. You can do it with any other example in terms of, as you change, your reality will change. So going back to that mirror, you look at you. The only way to make the world better is to make you better. So how can you be better? What can you change today to just change by 1%? That's all you got to do. 1% better than yesterday.
Yeah, I love that. That's really good. I have a TikTok account, and yesterday I was looking at a TikTok video, and this couple who was in college, they decided that instead of going on a date and spending money, what they were going to do was go on a date and make money together.
Love it.
Yeah, so they decided to basically just deliver food. They have like DoorDash, and they have these various apps where you can deliver food and you can make money. So they just decided our date tonight is to go out and deliver food together, and they had a great time, and they just videoed the whole thing. I just thought it was interesting. It was just a mind shift, that instead of going out and spending money tonight, we're going to go out and make money together.
Love it.
And I thought it was brilliant. So anyway, something to think about, certainly. And, I think we also should be talking about the law of gratitude, because, the college students who are listening right now, they're very fortunate, as you know, to be able to go to college and get a college degree, higher education. Not everybody in the world gets that opportunity. I mean, that, I know that. So talk about the law of gratitude. Why is this so critical?
Yeah, to kind of put things in perspective, which is so beautiful, is there are 3 levels of gratitude we can talk about. And a lot of us, I think, find it hard to be grateful for hard things, right? And we're taught, at least now in the positive thinking, you've got to be grateful for everything. And just between us friends, it's not only impossible, and I'm possibility coach, it's also stupid. You can't be grateful for everything. If you're being abused and you're saying it's the best thing that happened to me, you and I need to have a talk, because it ain't. So how do you keep that gratitude at that moment? And that is the key shift. Here's the mindset shift. We are to be grateful through all things and in all things. Kiev Mohyla Academy was my second choice. My first choice was Kiev University. The international department, they were taking 80 students, and it was disclosed that out of 80 students, only 2 would be females. My score was higher than every single male's score that got in, but it was lower than the other 2 females. Now, I was so shocked at the time. I didn't become anorexic, or at least I wasn't aware I did, but my weight went down to 89 pounds. So how can I be grateful for it? But I got to tell you, I was so grateful through it, because as you look back, things start making sense. The skills I've developed and the confidence that I had, and now the understanding that what happened in a retrospect, the outcome, not the process, the outcome was the best thing for me. So do not force yourself to be grateful for the process. Looking back, you will be grateful for the outcome. And in very practical sense, think of it this way: what we appreciate appreciates. So if you're grateful for things in your life, they will grow in value. Whatever it is you want to grow in value, appreciate it. Your relationship or your money. Whatever we depreciate, depreciates. And that is why the law of gratitude is so tied to well-being, to financial well-being, to relationship well-being. You notice what you notice, because what you notice is what you create. So notice through being grateful. The hack that I have is on my phone for 9 a.m., 3 p.m., and 9 p.m. My buzzer goes off and it says, I am loved. Now, because I'm a spiritual person, it also says God loves you. And the third question is, what are you grateful for right now? And at that moment, doesn't matter what I do, I'm going to stop and I'm going to genuinely tune into the moment of, what am I grateful for right now? Because we get on autopilot. But the miracle that happens is, once you tune in into the miracle of life you're given, it refocuses you from looking at your problems, and gratitude shifts you into the position of solution. So very grateful to be talking about gratitude, and hope that it touches your heart and you can see the power of it.
Wow, that's really amazing. I love that you have those alarms set every day to remind you what you're grateful for. What a great activity that anybody who's listening can really try themselves. And I think it really will shift your mindset. I, just like everybody else, just like Victoria, I've had setbacks in my life. But I think you're right. Let's focus now less on the process and more on the outcome, because those setbacks actually led to the biggest things that have happened to me in my life. So now looking back at it, yeah, I'm very grateful that that happened. At the time, it wasn't so great, but now looking back at it, it actually put me in position to do some of the biggest things I've ever done in my life. So yeah, that's the outcome. And I also want to talk a little bit about service, because the people who are listening to us right now, they are, many of them, fraternity and sorority members that are constantly involved in community service and giving back to their community to make it a better place than what they found when they arrived in that city, in that college. And you believe that service is really the seed of abundance. Talk to us about why service is so important.
Wholeheartedly believe in that. Learned the concept from Rabbi Lapin, who said it first, and I had to pause. And I've refrained all my, going back to real estate. I had a little logo: we sell more because we serve more. And what it allows for you to do is, when you are genuinely serving somebody, and what I mean by serving somebody, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. The service to me is the how, not necessarily the what. And so you can be just sitting on the metro, right, in a car, and serving people because of how you are looking and seeing them as human beings. Some of the greatest things you will ever do for human beings will not be your intentional service. People that come to me, this has been the greatest discovery to me. People that come to me and say, you remember when? And I have no recollection, because it was just a natural way of being. And so there is an amazing way of just serving intentionally through projects, but just in the morning, waking up and telling yourself, I am here to serve others in the best and highest way, will shift you to be looking out of you. And why is it important to look outside of yourself? I know it is very popular now to talk about a self-love, and I'm all in favor of self-love. And I got to tell you, the fastest way to love yourself is to serve others. There is no other faster way to love yourself than to serve others, because it shows you you're capable. It shows you you're compassionate. It shows you you're caring. It invites you to trust yourself that you're lovable. And so, yeah, service, service, service. And as you serve, and you do so without a tag attachment, it comes back to you in abundant opportunities. It always will. You put network and you put service together. You put your heart, you put your effort, and you reap very rich results.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that's brilliant. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. If there's an organization listening right now and you're college students and you don't have the brotherhood or the sisterhood that you're looking for, go out and do service. Because if you are working shoulder to shoulder with somebody, helping other people in the community who are less fortunate, maybe they don't have food, maybe they don't have a home, and you're helping them, there is nothing that's going to build those bonds faster than doing service together. And, we actually, I think, become more attached working shoulder to shoulder sometimes than face to face. Something for you to think about. And so I love that. And one other thing I wanted to ask you about, it's this law of forgiveness. I think we should talk about it, because sometimes I'm going to be honest here, right? I have trouble sometimes forgiving people who have done something to me that I know is not right. So why is the law of forgiveness so important to you?
I love that. I love that you started with gratitude, because it's the first law in the Prosper Me book. Forgiveness happens to be the last law. And I think those two laws are two most important ones. I love English language. It's actually not even second, it's my third language, but I love it because when you study it, you understand how much meaning in every word. And so when you look at the word forgiving, it is actually for giving. It's not for getting. It is for giving. And why is it important to forgive? For a lot of us, we struggle with concept of forgiveness because we think that if we forgive, we condone what happened. And that is the first struggle. So it's important to realize that when something has happened to us or through us or around us, when we forgive, we do not condone, we do not accept it as okay. We simply free ourselves from the burden of carrying that event and draining our much needed energy. Everything that we have not forgiven takes mental space and energetic space and drains us. Our mind, with its limited moment to moment capacity, thrives when we're in the present moment. The lack of forgiveness pulls us back into the past. And it's the same as if you were trying to walk forward, but you were looking backward. Will you get where you're going? Possibly, probably, not most efficiently. So I have this cool one deep thought exercise and one really cool how not to form resentment, because resentment will take up space inside you. Pain will take space inside you that can be used for your well-being and prosperity creation. So we want to let go, we want to forgive, and it's easier said than done. So first, little spiritual thing that is so powerful and practical. Some of the people that hurt us have no capacity to say, I'm sorry or forgive me. They simply have no capacity, not mental, maybe they've died already. And so consciously, we're saying, I'll let go, I forgive. But our subconscious mind, our emotional mind carries that heavy burden. And it needs to hear, I am sorry, forgive me, for you to emotionally let go. So as I'm talking, maybe there is a person or an event that came to mind. Sit down and write a letter to yourself from that person as if they're asking you for forgiveness. Of many exercises I do with clients, this is by far the most powerful one, because your subconscious does not know that it is you who is writing. You're not fooling it. You're working with the mechanism that will set you free. So that's homework, right? That's homework. We're in college. That's your homework. Now, what do you do not to have the grudges? This is my favorite topic. We're going to go through it rapid fire, 1 minute. And I call it the 4-step ass principle. And you heard it right, ass principle. Because, sometimes somebody's just being an ass. They're just being an ass. There's no better way to say it. And so you were trying to be nicey and all positive, so we don't have to tell them to their face. But here are the 4 steps not to form the grudge that you later need to forgive. Validate the situation. When something happens, telling your mind, okay, they're being just an ass. Just validate it. Number two, very important, point of ownership. Is that an important person to you? Are they a part of your life? In which case you get to say in your mind, well, but they're my ass. They're an ass, but hey, they're my ass. Now, if somebody's cutting in front of you in traffic, or if somebody's just doing something and they aren't really nobody to your life, it's a point of detachment. Tell yourself in your mind, but they're not even my ass. They're being an ass, but they're not even my ass. Then you go to point 3, which is that choice of forgiveness. You have to actually mentally command the choice. I choose to forgive them. They're an ass, mine or not mine. I choose to forgive them. And number 4, if it's a person you love, you get to say, I choose to love them. I choose to continue to love them. And if it's somebody who's a stranger, I choose to let go. Sounds so funny and primitive. I cannot tell you how powerful it is. Try it out, be free. It's easier to not form a grudge than to be writing lots of letters to be forgiving them.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I love all of your exercises. And I think the one that you mentioned initially, writing that letter yourself from somebody else who's done wrong to you, asking for forgiveness, and that your brain really doesn't even know that it was you writing the letter. It's brilliant because it does let you just let go.
Yes.
And that sometimes is what you need. You carry all of this stuff with you and it just weighs you down and it just keeps you from being what's possible, right?
Yep.
So that's brilliant. I really, really love it. This has been just an enlightening conversation. Now, I know you live in Baltimore, DC area, which is actually one of my favorite places to go, mostly because you have unlimited seafood. I'm really jealous because, here I am living in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm landlocked, so I don't get all the delicious seafood that you have access to. So, I'm wondering the next time I'm in town, which is going to be pretty soon, what's your favorite local restaurant in the Baltimore, DC area so I can go and give it a try?
Well, I am on the Virginia side and I'm a sushi eater. Okay. So once a week with my team, I go to Yamazoto's. It's a little hole in the wall in Annandale, best known sushi. Phenomenal. So if you're good with raw, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I'm good with raw. I love sushi. It's fantastic. The problem is all the sushi that I get here in Nashville, Tennessee, you don't want to eat.
It was
This is
clucking.
like gas
The sushi
station.
was clucking.
Yeah, this is like gas station sushi. Like you don't want it. It's not good.
Yep.
So I'm very jealous of what all the great food that you're getting. Let's put it that way. All right. So if our college students who are listening right now, let's say they want to connect with you, they want to buy your book. It's called Prosper Me, the 35 Universal Laws to Make Money Work for You. Or maybe they want to bring you in to speak on their college campus. Where should they go to connect with you?
The fastest way to connect is through my website, which is yu2shine.com, u2shine.com. You can contact about speaking. The book is available on Amazon as of June 25th and pretty much with time in your local retailer. And for those of you that are into anything energy related and want to expand your conscious programming, for Michael, we have actually a coupon, which is Foodie 30. So if you go to the website, you go to Quantum Freedom. I'm very big on freedom on energy since it's Quantum Freedom program. Study it up. If it's something you enjoy, make sure to put in Foodie 30 and you're going to get 30% off forever.
Very nice. Well, thank you so much. Our listeners are very grateful for that 30% off discount. I know they're going to take you up on it. So I think that's going to work out for you and for them. So I think that's absolutely fantastic. Victoria, what can I say? You are a force and I just love every minute of it. I think it's fantastic. So thank you. Thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Thank you for having me. Great fun. Thank you.
Of course, it's my pleasure. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this talk with Victoria, make sure that you like it. Make sure you share it with other college students on campus that you think need to hear Victoria's words. And we'll see you on another episode of the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. Thanks so much for listening, and we will see you next time.